What is up, everybody? We are Joystick Jabber. I'm Spy Gaming, aka Ryan, here with Nick, my co-host, aka FLCLAFI. And Joystick Jabber is a podcast where we talk about games, game news, pop culture, movies, shows, other nerdy stuff.
Mostly games.
Yeah, but mostly game stuff. But usually we start the podcast off by talking about what we've been up to. So what have you been up to?
Still mostly Tomb Raider.
I think it's been that for like the past couple of podcast episodes here.
Yeah, they're a lot longer than I thought they'd be. Because usually like with PS1 games, I mean, I don't know. There are some because there's PS1 Final Fantasy games that take like 30 hours to beat.
Yeah, well, more, yeah. Plus.
But yeah, the Tomb Raider games are like 12 to 15 hours long if you're going for everything.
Okay.
So I've finished everything in 2. The last video for 2 went live on Wednesday of the week that we're recording this, and then part 1 for 3 went live today. So
nice.
Yep, started that. I'm
How
a little bit
been?
ahead. 3 is weird. It's not like it's still fun and it's still a good game, but like the level design is all over the place. Like there, like in 1 and 2, there's like confusing levels later in the game, or like levels that are big levels that keep going for a bit. But like every level is just outright confusing in 3.
Like a maze.
Yeah, well, like the last level that I most recently played, which because I'm a little bit ahead than where my videos are, but I played this like prison level. And that level is ridiculously confusing. Like it doesn't really give you any like direction. You're just supposed to like go, and there's like vents you have to crawl through and stuff like that. There's like a whole swimming section. It's weird.
Oh jeez.
But that's one thing that I saw a lot of people talking about in like the Steam forums and stuff like that, where people were like comparing the games, and a lot of people like were talking about 3's level design just being crazy.
Yeah.
Because it is. Because even like the first level with the jungle and stuff like that, it's very the way it's presented. Like usually there's like with 1 and 2 you can kind of figure out where it wants you to go, but with 3 it's just like what the hell.
That's
like
crazy.
Where the pickups are and stuff like that, because usually in like 1 and 2 as well, the pickups kind of guide you in the right direction as well, but in 3 there's just pickups like in really random spots. But it's still fun though.
Have you also been playing through the Invasion season too?
Yeah, well, I live streamed that.
Yeah.
Before.
Have you been playing anything else on like on the side or anything?
Yeah, the Battlefront Classic Collection, which I mean, when I was actually surprised to see all the negative reviews, but that's because when I jumped on the game, I just went right into instant action and just did like a massive battle.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I had the Xbox version, but. And I played it on Steam a long time ago as well, but there's like an XL mode on the PC version for certain maps. But now it's on all of them because it's on console now too, but it like, there's AI everywhere. It's like just a giant massive battle. But yeah, I was just sitting there playing an instant action offline, and then I like went into the forums, and I was just seeing all these people like saying, "I told you this was gonna suck," and like, "I told you this was gonna bomb," and I'm like, "Wait, what? Like, what's going on?" And then I looked at the store page, and it was mostly negative, which now it's at an overwhelmingly negative.
Oh jeez.
And I was like, well, "What the hell?" It's like it's working perfectly fine for me right now, and then I checked, and it's just all online. Everybody's complaints. It's just all online. Yeah, you can't play online. Well, when the PC version first launched, it only had 3 servers for a max of like 200 people.
Oh, I did see that people were able to like have their own servers.
Yeah, but there was like a problem where you couldn't like join hosted servers too.
Oh.
But then within an hour they started adding even more servers, so it's just like a matter of time to get more servers up. But there were still like the issue where. Well, we can just talk about it when we talk about it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can get into it now. Like
dude, you didn't get an update.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So I mean, I've just been pretty much doing. I've been playing Helldivers, and I've been playing Final Fantasy, and that's pretty much it. I also played a little bit of Battlefront 2 as well. As of when we're recording this, it came out yesterday. Yeah. So I did get a chance to dive into it a little bit. I did try the online, actually. But yeah, we can talk about that in a little bit. Also, I've been putting out my RoboCop playthrough. Episode 9 just dropped today. And so hoping to be working on episode 10 tonight and be able to put that out for tomorrow as well, as of when we are recording this. And then just a lot of Helldivers. I've been diving deep into Helldivers. They've just had a ton of stuff coming out. Like they've recently, like all the mechs came out, which was really, really cool. And that was like for a limited amount of time, all the people, like all the players could use the mechs, which was awesome. And then they took it away from us, the jerks, because now I just want a mech. You have to reach, I think level 25 is like the highest rank you can get. I'm not really sure.
I saw something for someone who was like level 50 that was joining public games just to help people.
Oh, maybe you can. The highest like level in terms of unlocking things, from what I know, is 25. Okay. And that's when you unlock the mech. So I'm at like level 22 right now, so I'm trying to grind out the levels so that I can get the mech. So I don't know how much you know about Helldivers, but they have like a person who's in charge of essentially running the entirety of like the Galactic War, who's apparently he's running like a D&D like dungeon like dungeon master. He or whoever the person is, like it's apparently they're in charge of, I guess, making like a story out of it. I have a sneaking suspicion like there's something really messed up with the Helldiver, with like the Helldivers themselves, because both the automatons and the Terminids are like after them. And one of the new missions that were essentially added for the entire community is that we're essentially committing genocide on these like the Terminids, for like over like 4 different planets. So I feel like there's something messed up, and then like there's something going on behind the scenes where I think I don't know, I forget what the actual like people for the Helldivers are, like their state or organization is, but I don't think that they're very good. I think that they like enslave the bugs to like extract stuff from them. I really need to look up on the lore on this, but I got a bad feeling about it.
Are Hornets misunderstood? Exactly.
Yes. We enslave them.
Xenomorphs?
That's true, yeah. I don't know, something about it. That's the same argument that other people have for me too. Is like my good friend Tyler, who I've been diving into hell with. He's been saying, he's like, I brought these concerns up to him too, and he's like, it's okay because they're ugly. I'm like, okay.
Well, that's not what I'm saying.
You know, if they're ugly, we can just commit mass genocide on them.
What I'm saying is that if you just drop someone onto the planet that isn't a Helldiver, what would the Terminids do?
Oh, for sure kill them.
Yeah. Because they're probably just ravenous,
for sure kill
murderous beasts.
Yeah, I think that well, that's the thing, is I think that we took the planets from them.
What if they were just in like it's weird that they're on so many different planets.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just an invasive species.
Well, that's the thing, is I think that we had them as like how you'd have cattle almost. You know what I mean? Like I think that they had them at like as like we would have cattle, and they're using them for some, I don't know if it's like fuel or something like that, but it sounds like they might have broken out all over all the planets because of the hive mind thing. I don't know. And then there's the automatons.
They invented space travel. They have their own ships.
That'd be hilarious. I always am in awe about how smart they are. They seem to know exactly when you're throwing things. Apparently, one of the developers actually said, so supposedly there's a system in the game where you can like hide from the enemies. Not the Terminids, though, apparently. The Terminids can smell your fear.
Yeah, I did actually see that.
Yeah. So...
You just need a non...
not stink.
Your Helldiver can't be a coward.
I don't know how to, like, not be afraid.
Maybe it's based on voice recognition through mic. So,
maybe.
Like, the more the person's freaking out, the easier it is for the AI to find them. What if they did have that? Or if, like, you're talking on the mic, they can hear it.
That'd be kind of messed up. Or, like, if...
Like Lethal Company?
Yeah. Or if it's, like if you have some lost health or something, you're afraid. I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting. But then I guess from there we could possibly... Well, also, I guess, as an update to my... finally got my wife to start playing Final Fantasy X. Forced her to sit down and play it.
Yeah. She's actually handcuffed to the PlayStation right now.
Yeah. Yep. No. I only handcuff her when I'm there so that I can watch her play it. But first she complained a lot, and now she's complaining a little bit less and less as she keeps playing it. So that's good. That's a good sign.
And then you're gonna go home. She's like, I don't know what happened. I accidentally deleted the save.
Oh yeah.
I just can't play it anymore.
Like, well, it looks like we got to start over. She's starting to like pick up on the stuff, which is making me really, really excited. But yeah, that's pretty much my update. Helldivers, Final Fantasy VII, been going through that too. And then watching my wife play Final Fantasy X. But yeah, in terms of Helldivers, also, there's been a lot of like complaining about like pay to win. People have been saying that the war bonds and everything, which is one of the big things this week for Helldivers, that the new war bond dropped. Cutting edge. I did a little video on that, but people have been saying that it's pay to win. And I think the devs came back on that, because it's not really pay to win, because there's no PvP, so there's nothing to really win. I'm kind of with that. I honestly like the way that the developers set up their live service.
Counter argument though, then why does the game have anti-cheat?
That's true.
It's not PvP.
Yeah. I mean, you can kill your fellow Helldivers.
Yeah.
So
you can have PvP.
They might not have intended the game to be PvP, but we made it PvP.
Yeah, because I was just looking through the forums, and I just seen like a ton of complaints about the anti-cheat that they used, because apparently it's like one of the more aggressive types. But they were just, the main complaint was that it was like a kernel level anti-cheat, but most anti-cheats are kernel level. There's just, the game regard is apparently just more invasive towards how aggressive it acts.
I mean, maybe because of the fact that you can actually play online with people and like join their games and stuff. Yeah. Like, what if you're like playing and then someone joins your game and they just like are cheating and just blow everything up? Leave your own game.
Well, then you can just kick them, but right?
I think you can, yeah, but like, yeah, I can. I mean, I don't really play with random people too much, anyways. Another thing that the developers had apparently said is that they asked the community for ways that they can potentially stop, because one of the big problems with Helldivers apparently is that people are kicking other people for not bringing in meta builds. With their newest update, they've tried to kind of mitigate that by not really having a meta build. But it happens. Build, yeah, it's always going to happen. Like things.
Now
some things
it's
are
gonna be
shittier
like,
than
if you're not
things.
level 25 and have a mech, you're out.
Exactly. Yeah. So like the developers have now like asked the community. They're like, "What do you think? Like, what are ways that you think that we could make it better for the community to not kick, not be dickheads?"
The problem with that is it's online.
Yeah.
That you can't do anything about that unless you just completely get rid of the kick option. But that would just cause more problems.
Yeah, and some people actually brought up some good like things. Some person was saying like have different types, like looking for like a competitive, more hardcore play style versus like a casual playing type of thing.
There have been games that do that though, where you can host a lobby and you can specifically label it as to what you're looking for, but then you'll like join it like a room on a fighting game where they're like beginners only, and then there'll be like a guy with a 100 win streak in it.
Yeah.
It's like, or there'll be like Resident Evil 6 actually had the option too, where you could like mark it for like looking for collectibles or just playing the story, and then it's just like people who are on the hardest difficulty trying to beat it. They should like the achievement, even though that's not what you joined for.
They should have it as two options. Be like, I will kick you if you're not bringing in a meta build, or I won't kick you if you.
Yeah,
like,
and then you'll go in there, and then you'll be like, "What's your build?" Oh, no, that's not meta, but that sucks. You're getting kicked.
It's like what gas airstrike, like arc thrower, just the things that kill the other players, pretty much. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much all of the major stuff around Helldivers.
I mean, having the option would probably be better, like where you can label it. But there would still be people kicking people for no reason. It'll be like casual game, but then if you like die right away, they'd be like, you're kicked.
Yeah, I think the major problem is just the fact that like that's just how it is nowadays.
Yeah, well, that's just how online has always been.
Yeah, well, I don't know about always, but nowadays, yes. Like, if you don't have people that you know that you're going to go and play the game with, it's probably not a great game to get. Because of the fact, like, I personally really, really like Helldivers, but there's major issues with it barring single players from being able to actually do anything past a certain, like, difficulty point.
Well, what happens when, like, you can't, like, say you reached your max difficulty by yourself because anything higher makes you lose. Can you still like grind on the difficulty that you're able to beat it on, or does it lock you out of stuff?
You could, but they're like the higher difficulties, so it will be essentially very, very, very hard for you to win on some of these other difficulties. And the thing is like there's these things called samples, which you can pick up throughout like each of the missions. And as the difficulties scale, there's like more samples that could become available. That's really the only thing that you'd miss out on is like those higher tier samples, like the highest tier of samples. And for those, like you use those to actually upgrade your ship. So you could actually miss out on certain stuff.
Because I know there's like a lot of games with that kind of system where it like, because even the new Suicide Squad does the same thing where like you can keep increasing your mastery level and then you'll get more rewards for it, but in a lot of the situations, if you actually go down the mastery level, you can finish the missions faster, which in turn gives you more resources faster than if you just keep raising it.
Yeah, like a time versus reward system type thing. Yeah, the only problem, like the XP and the money that you get, or requisition that you get for the higher difficulties, is definitely worth it, like worth doing. Thing is like I'm not someone who likes to play with people that I just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like that either.
So it's kind of hard, but now with like a group of 3, I can do the higher level missions at least. So it is, that's the main thing, is being able to get those samples. But other than that, pretty much the missions and everything are all the same. You just get less rewards for it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's everything for Helldivers that I can really think of.
Go back to Battlefront.
Yeah. Let's circle back. Yeah, because we had both. So at this point we've both played Battlefront, and like I don't have any problems with it really.
I haven't touched the online at all.
Oh yeah.
So let me start by saying that. So if you bought the game for purely online reasons, you should be pissed, because that's like I mean, we're only one day in.
Yeah.
It still doesn't really work that great. Some people say that like out of 10 games they play, 3 or 4 of them actually are fine. Like the lag, the ping, and everything it works perfectly pretty much. But then there's other games where it's still just laggy and unplayable, and that's like private or dedicated.
Mm-hmm.
So it still has problems. Spire did make a statement saying that like they did the same thing with Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remaster, where they say the same thing. They're like, we want to thank the Tomb Raider community, we want to thank the Battlefront community, and then they just have like a thing that follows because they're both made by Aspire.
Yeah.
But the way they made it sound, they said they had like a critical error with their systems and their network, and they're working to like increase the capacity and stuff like that. So the way they made it sound is that their servers weren't ready for the influx of players, which that happens a lot with games with servers, because even Helldivers 2 had the same problem.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird this time around too, because when the game launched, like I said, they only had 3 dedicated servers up for PC. But maybe they were supposed to have more, or just something happened.
I don't know. I mean, is Aspire typically like used to making online games? Like online, like used to creating an online experience? I know their main thing is like remasters of games.
Well, usually it's not even remasters. Usually they're just ports. Like, because people keep calling this a remaster, but it really isn't. It's really just a port. They just upscale the textures, basically.
Touched up some things, yeah.
There are some effects missing. Like, there's a lot of bloom effects that, even though they have a bloom option, that aren't there. Like, when I was on Mustafar, usually the lava has, like, this vibrant bloom coming off of it that has, like, a haze. That's gone now, but the actual lava textures are a lot better. So I don't know if those are missing effects or just like creative choices that they made.
I mean, I also noticed some sound issues.
Yeah, there are some sound issues with the game as well.
Glaring sound issues.
There's like that giant static that will show up sometimes with explosions.
Yeah.
The only issue I had with the audio besides that in Battlefront 1 was like sometimes you'll shoot, but the first shot won't make a sound, but then it'll repeat 2 blaster shots on the second shot. But then then after that, it's fine. And then Battlefront 2, I think, has the weirdest audio out of the 2 of them, because there's just some things that are either like way quieter than they should be, or that just doesn't sound right.
Okay.
But I think it's just the way they mix the audio on too, because it's a lot quieter. Like, because when I was streaming it, Eric told me to turn down Battlefront 1. Yeah. Battlefront 2 I have maxed out, and it sounds quieter than that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I played a little bit of Battlefront 1's...
You finished the multiplayer.
Multiplayer, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. No, I did finish the
Clone Wars campaign.
Yeah, the Clone Wars campaign on Battlefront 1, and that was perfect. Like that worked fine. Like I said, the only issues that I really had was the audio issues. But when I was like, it's a throwback for me, like from when I was a kid, because of the fact that all I played was the single player. You know what I mean? Like all I played was
really didn't touch the online.
Yeah, there's no online for me to really play. But now, like I went into online just to see what it was like, and I don't know, like I didn't really get too much time to like mess around with it. Our team got absolutely destroyed, and I don't know if it was just because I sucked, or if I was like, or if it was a game lag type of issue.
Because people were mainly complaining about the rubber banding. It's like,
I didn't get rubber banding.
Oh, because like you would see somebody, but they weren't actually there, and then you would just get like shot out of nowhere type of thing. So that was a part of the complaints too.
Yeah, it was a pretty heavily populated map, so there was stuff going on all the time. So that like I didn't get a chance to like one-on-one combat somebody and like experience any lag. Maybe when I played, like I said, I might have just sucked. I mean, that was the first thing I did when I got on Battlefront. So it's like I hadn't played Battlefront in like 15 years. So I guess we had recently played
that it. That was 2, but they're both pretty similar.
But yeah, I mean, so I hadn't really gotten a chance to test out the online. Maybe we'll probably be doing something like the heroes versus villains soon or something like that.
Yeah.
Or or online, or not online, but like something where we can play together, I guess, like a dedicated server or something. or server that I can open up.
Yeah, because I mean that's similar with me with the past when I played it. I only played offline modes. I never played the game, even with the PC version. I never played it online. Most of my time on 2 is just Galactic Conquest.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's fun. Like those were the fun modes on there.
Yeah, I mean it's heavily expanded upon in 2 compared to 1. Because in 1 it's just like there's like a controlled planet, then you win, and then it's contested, and then you pick it again to take it.
Yeah.
But it's just like the same. It's just instant action technically, but that's how it works in the first one.
Yeah.
But 2, it's actually got like the whole map system, and there's credits.
Yeah.
To buy the units and stuff like that. There's space battles.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah. So like I said, to me it seemed awesome when I was playing it, and then I saw all the negative reviews for it, and I was like, oh, this is all for the online, which is, like I said, it's warranted. Like it's a 20-year-old game at this point. So you would think that everything would be better.
Yeah.
But they seriously dropped the ball on the multiplayer aspect of it, which that in the trailer that was like a big selling point. They like emphasized that like the 64 massive multiplayer battles.
And maybe that's the problem. Maybe the fact that there's so many players in that one server could be the issue.
Yeah, apparently there is a version of the game that does support 64-player online battles in the past. So it's not like it's a new thing that they're doing with it, but it's just their servers weren't ready for it, I guess.
They didn't realize how big nostalgia means to people, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, it was always going to be popular, but I mean, there was people already like on the PC side of things, there was already people just saying to just avoid the game before it came out because the PC version already exists. But yeah, there's reasons to get the classic collection. It's just a matter of when they fix it completely.
Yeah, and I mean, what you're into. If you want to get the classic collection to play multiplayer, don't get it right now.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what you're saying. But for the single player experience, like me and you have talked before on the podcast about what we enjoy, and we always enjoy like pretty much single player experiences, or just like more of the story based things in games. Like when we do play co-op online or multiplayer, it's typically like we have to be with our friends that we know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're not just gonna go in there and play with randoms or something like that. So
yeah, we just need 64 friends.
That's it. Yeah, just our close 64 friends, and we'll be able to fill out a whole.
No, I mean the difference with Battlefront is it literally is just chaos. Like you're never gonna know what's going on. Like you're not gonna be like the one dude who's just like 500 kills, 0 deaths. Yeah. There's just like so much going on that it's like you're gonna be constantly dying most of the time. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just thought it was funny, like, seeing some people, though, where they were like, yeah, the game is 100% unplayable.
It's like,
simply because the multiplayer doesn't work. It's like the game...
If anything, it's more so, like, 10% unplayable.
That's what I was about to say. I was literally about to say 10%. Like, I was going to say, like... I was also seeing comments where like, yeah, I just played it for the offline, so I don't really care about the online issues. And then there would be like replies like, well, that's you're missing out on the whole game then. And it's like if you compare the modes, the sheer amount of modes in total, multiplayer is like the smallest part of the game. It's just might be the part with more replayability for the person who's interested in it.
Yeah.
But when you compare it to the rest of the game, multiplayer is only just a small portion of it. It's just it's an important portion of it, but
yeah,
there's so much more that the game offers than just the multiplayer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean they need to fix that though.
Yeah, the conquest mode, the like the campaigns.
They have campaigns.
Yeah, like it's all good.
Galactic Conquest. You sink in a ton of time with Galactic Conquest.
Yeah. So like, yeah, it's definitely not 100% unplayable.
No.
Yeah, it's just the vocal majority of the people who are gonna see. That's the thing is like when people like a game, they're not gonna most of the time. They're not gonna like actively go out and say anything.
No,
if people don't like a game or don't like something, that's when they're gonna actively come out and say it. So you're gonna see stuff that's like more negative than positive because
The only hole that this game falls into though is the fact that they're selling games that are 20 years old.
Yeah.
So it's like there's also the people who complain about the
Jesus,
price tag and stuff like that.
20 years old at this point. Isn't it?
The first one came out in 2004. The second one only came out a year after that.
Really?
Yeah, it came out in 2005.
What?
It actually had some pretty massive improvements over the first one.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a short development cycle that paid off pretty well.
One of the people in our communities when you were live streaming is like, this looks like Mercenaries. Like Mercenaries 2. Yeah. And then I was thinking about it. I was like, this does look like Mercenaries 2. And I'm like, oh yeah, they were both made by Pandemic. As like this, and like the rolling, like a lot of that feels very, very similar. Like the whole system of it. It's crazy to because I never like put those two things together until that was said, and I was like thinking about it, I was like, this is actually kind of crazy how similar these two games are, like the reticles and everything.
I mean, Pandemic also made the Saboteur.
Yep, that's different.
Yeah, it feels different, but yeah. Pandemic was a great studio.
Saboteur was great, a great game.
There was a little bit too much in the Saboteur in terms of like the free roam stuff.
Yeah,
there was
like
if you were gonna take down every like outpost in camp, there was like 100 outposts in the game.
Yeah,
but it was a really fun game.
Yeah,
Pandemic.
You're killing Nazis, dude. Like it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, like if you want to kill, like if you were in Helldivers and you had to commit genocide on a planet of Nazis.
Yeah, it's just a full planet of Nazis.
Just go for it. Yes. Terminids?
No.
That's a little iffy.
What if we were experimenting on the Nazis?
Well, they're Nazis.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not gonna defend it, but they're Nazis.
But yeah, so like with Battlefront though, they're in a weird spot because it's like these aren't new games and they still messed it up. It's like how do you mess up a 15 or 20-year-old game?
Yeah.
So yeah, they need to sort that out. It's only been one day, and most people have already deemed the game unplayable and not worth it at all. Ever
refund. Yeah.
So just, I mean, it shouldn't have launched this way. It is getting really annoying that developers are like, we'll just release it in its current state and then fix it later type of thing, because that's what a lot of game devs are doing now. But
to be fair, though, if it was a server issue like that, like it was just overloaded, I don't really know how you test that. You know what I mean? Unless you have like a mass amount of beta testers only testing the multiplayer. They
would have had to have done a public beta. That would have been the smartest choice. Yeah. Because people were able to play the game in advance. It's just they didn't get to play the online.
Yeah.
Because there weren't any online servers active at the time. Mm-hmm. And then they just slowly rolled them out as the game was going live. And that's the other problem, too, is the game was going live in different time zones. So it's like some people were already playing it hours before others. So it's like they're rolling out servers just for like certain portions of time zones. And then once it releases for everybody, there's only that many servers. It's like, so the way they handled the rollout of it, they were probably not expecting everybody to just jump in on the online immediately, and they were probably like hoping you would experience other portions of the game. I'm not like excusing it because this is stuff that they should have had figured out, but like they had to have known that there would be at least more than 200 people playing the game on PC.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they got to figure that out, and at this point they got to fix it quick because they've already lost majority. Like they had like a peak player count of like 10,000 people on launch day for PC.
And
now there's like
the servers only hold 200 people.
And apparently all 10,000 of those people were going to play online.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
So then it just dropped like 3,000 something. And it's been like sitting at that. So majority of the people who bought it on PC have already stopped.
Or I'm assuming refunded
Probably,
it.
yeah. Which that they should, because the one reason why they bought the game doesn't work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the problem is they released it on a Thursday, and now it's Friday, and they're probably not going to sort out the issues, and they're probably not going to on the weekend, so it probably won't be working until next week.
That's the one thing now. I think with like, I know digital like copies of games have been around for a while, obviously, but like, with that being like the main way people get games now, Like they're not going to the store and buying it and bringing it back home. They just get it, download it, and play it. So like it's literally at everyone's fingertips the instant that it comes out, which I feel like that can also have an impact on like things that people hadn't been prepared for in the past or something like that. I'm just trying to find some sort of an excuse for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's been that way for a long time now though, so that shouldn't really. But I mean, that's the other thing too is people were wondering why the game was like 50. The size changes every time someone complains. So like when
I actually saw two different sizes when I first got it, it was like 70 gigs. Then I looked at it when I was going to download, it was like 50.
Yeah, it changes depending on who's complaining, I guess. It is like it's more than double the size of the original game. The original games, when you combine both of them, it's like around 12 gigabytes.
So 7 times.
Massive. So people were complaining about the size of the game as well, but I mean every game is huge now. This time though, because the game doesn't look too much different, it obviously looks better. But I think they just upscaled the textures so much, and there's like no compression on them. Mm-hmm. So they're just massive texture file sizes. Same with the video file sizes are probably huge now too. So that's probably where all the data's coming from. But yeah, I mean like every day it's something different. They're like, why is this game 50 gigabytes? Why is this game 60 gigabytes? Why is it 70? Why is it 80? It's like the final file size on PC at least is 62 gigs.
Oh, because I literally looked at it. I saw 70, like 72, and then I saw like 58.
Yeah. If you actually hover over the folder for the whole game and click on properties, it's like 62.8 gigabytes.
That's so weird.
So
that's weird.
It is huge for that game.
Yeah,
though,
I know.
But
I mean,
so many games have huge file sizes now that
5 times the size of the original.
Yeah. I was thinking that they might have upscaled the textures to 8K, but I can't see that being the case. Maybe 4K, but then again, the textures were so low res that maybe it is 8K, and it just looks like it's still not the highest res, but that might be because of how low res they were.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the other thing too. The problem with the file size though is like people who wanted to play it on like Steam Deck.
Oh yeah,
that's a huge part of their memory just for that game.
True, yeah.
Same with Nintendo Switch.
Why I had to get that. That's why when I got my Steam Deck, I got like the biggest version that I could get.
Yeah.
So that I could at least hold like 3 games on it.
Yeah. Just 3.
Yeah.
That was the funny thing I heard about too. Is apparently the Switch version, people were playing online the whole time and it was fine.
Really?
Yeah, so the Switch version is actually like the most stable version of the game right now.
It's because no one's playing on Switch.
And then I heard it was pretty decent on Xbox. Right now, the worst is PS5 and PC.
Okay.
But yeah, Switch apparently is working pretty fine.
There we go. For all you Switch players out there.
Yeah, that's the Battlefront situation.
Yeah.
If you're fully just wanting to play it for the multiplayer, I would wait until you like hear that it works stably. Either from us,
specifically from us,
only from us. No, from like
soon to be on Spotify,
on somewhere wherever you get your news from.
Us,
yeah. But if you don't really care about that and you want to just jump in onto like the single player modes, it's fine.
Yeah, it's great.
It works perfectly.
It looks
fine
amazing.
For the most part. Yeah,
like it looks
really
amazing.
Good.
Like
it looks better than EA Battle.
Yeah. No. When I saw EA Battlefront, because I think I had actually come over here when you had just gotten, I think, like a new graphics card or a new TV or something like that. And we looked at the EA Battlefront, and I was like, this looks insane. Like the shine off of the armor, and like, I was like, oh, this looks amazing.
Yeah, the EA Battlefronts have really good graphics.
But, I mean, yeah, the Classic Collection, from what you remember to now, like, we recently played it, and then, like, going from that to seeing it, like, how they changed it, it just looks so good. It looks so clean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty much everything I remember. It's great.
So that's probably Battlefront.
Yeah, a lot of Battlefront there.
Yeah. Well, there's one thing that I actually forgot about until now that we never talked about when you were talking about digital games. Mm-hmm. There was a bug on PlayStation where people were just like losing their entire digital library.
Was there?
Yeah, it was affecting a very small amount of people. I forgot how many they said, but it wasn't. It was like, I don't even It was less than 100. But there was
my
people
God.
who would go into their library and all of their games would be gone. Like all of their digital games.
Oh my God, that would. What do you do?
At the time, I haven't seen any updates for it yet, but at the time, Sony said that they don't have a fix for it at the time. So I don't know what happened with that. Or maybe it was just some people were just lying about it, or there was like some connection issue. But I haven't even seen.
This is the problem. Like that is the problem with digital games.
Yeah.
That is the problem with having digital games instead of physical.
I mean, that's the thing is that's what a lot of the comments were saying. They were like, well, that's why I just remain physical. And it's like, yeah, but, I mean...
You can't. And you really don't.
You put the disc in and then you have to download the game.
Yeah.
But the only thing is you could force that download again through the disc.
Yeah.
So you'd still be secured in that regard.
So even through, like, purchase history, like on your...
Well, Sony's... I don't know if you can even go into your purchase history on PlayStation. I know you can on Xbox. You should be able to on PlayStation. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I saw it like a week ago, and then I haven't seen any updates since. So I don't know if they sorted it out or if they're still having that issue. All I know, it only affected like a very small amount of people, so I don't know what was causing it. But yeah, I just saw it and I was like, what the hell?
Well, and that's also the problem for the future too. Is like as systems and like gaming. And I mean, all media as it progresses to the future, these are going to be art forms, and like these are going to be games that we lose to the future because eventually, like when we're at the PS 10, we're not going to have like stuff for PS4. We might have remasters of games and things, but like we're going to probably lose this type of media.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I wish Sony would be more open to backwards compatibility. They go in somewhat, but not fully. So like they've been making some games backwards compatible from the PS1 on PS5 and like PS4 and PS2 games on PS4.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I mean even that though, like,
well, yeah, it's limited. Like if it's a game that the company that made it doesn't have the rights to anymore, or it's like a licensed game, they can't make it backwards compatible legally.
Yeah,
because they can't. Well, they could, they just wouldn't be able to sell it.
Like we were just talking about Mercenaries. It was like incredibly hard for me to find Mercenary. I ended up actually getting it on PC, but it was incredibly hard for me to find it. Another one was remember the Movies?
Yeah,
the Movies was a game that me and you actually played quite a bit in like the 2000 whenever we
it was
played.
Made by Lionhead,
Babel. Which, like, I don't even know. They're obviously gone now.
Yeah. Well, it's just everything they had was just under Microsoft now.
Yeah, it's like impossible. Movies isn't digital. Like, it's impossible to find physical.
There
copies
actually, it's weird. There is a Steam page for the Movies.
Is there?
Yeah, but you obviously can't buy it. But yeah. I didn't even know it was ever on Steam.
It was such like. That game is such a classic, and that's gonna be a game that's like literally lost to time, pretty much. Like that's like one of my favorite all-time PC games.
I mean, we can ease into the next thing because it's kind of directly related to this, but emulation.
Yeah,
that's where emulation comes into play. So I mean, there is a lot of like whether or not emulation is just pure piracy or if it's mostly preservation.
Mm-hmm.
And it depends, because recently Nintendo just shut down Yuzu, which was a Nintendo Switch emulator. Which, yeah, Nintendo Switch is a console that's new and being sold, and games that are still being sold. So that's when you start leaning more into the piracy side of emulation. But then for me, with the preservation side of it, it's like if you're emulating a console that's no longer sold and emulating a game that's no longer sold, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's like you.
Who are you stealing money from?
Well, you could buy the original console from some random person.
Yeah.
And give them money, but like the company who made the console's getting nothing.
Yeah, the
games aren't
of the
being
game.
sold.
Yeah, exactly.
Because most of the time, there's no new version of those games that are being sold. Because it's like you wouldn't be emulating it if you could just buy a new version of it.
Yeah.
So it's like that. But with this whole Yuzu situation, they overstepped massively. So they started selling like a certain patch or something like that on their Patreon that allowed you to play Tears of the Kingdom before the game even came out. So this lawsuit has been going on for
quite a while.
Yeah, for a decent amount of time. but they finally like settled or something like that. I don't know if they have to pay anything or if they just shut everything down to avoid having to
like
pay.
a cease and desist type of thing.
But so that's like hugely overstepping. So you can't first of all, you can't sell anything with this kind of stuff. You can ask for donations, sure, but like you can't just sell a specific patch to do something that's for something you don't own.
Yeah.
That's when you start stepping into like the territory where it's like, yeah, you're just asking to be sued at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if the game isn't even out yet.
Yeah.
It's like
it's literally piracy.
Yeah. I mean, even just emulating Tears of the Kingdom is technically piracy because the game's actively being sold. It's like all that stuff's there. So yeah, the group who made Yuzu also made an emulator called Citra, which lets you emulate. It lets you emulate 3DS games.
Mm-hmm.
That went down with them.
Oh, okay.
But the difference with that is like Nintendo's not selling 3DSs anymore.
Yeah.
They're not selling any of those games, so
well, and it's Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like number one, what they were doing was completely wrong.
Yeah.
But it's it's also I'm not saying but it's Nintendo, so it's okay to do it. I'm saying but it's also Nintendo, which is probably the harshest company that you don't want to
No, I know.
fuck with.
Yeah, I don't know why they would overstep so much with Nintendo. Because, I mean, Citra, they didn't directly target Citra. I think Nintendo at least is aware of, like, going after emulators for things that they don't technically make money off of anymore isn't really something they do, but...
I mean, they're still looking for ways to take down Pal World.
I think they gave up on that. But with Citra, that just went down with that other group because they were also making that. But I think I already heard that a new emulator for the Switch was already popping up, so you can't really stop it.
Yeah.
It's just always going to be there, but...
I'm just pissed that I can't play Nintendogs now.
Yeah. That was like when I got a Nintendo DS.
It's like the first game that you had,
that was the deal, like the Best Buy thing. Like you would just get Nintendogs for free.
I remember you showing me the Nintendogs.
It was the only game I had at the time because that's when I got a DS, and then I started getting other games, but then that's when I realized that I just wasn't really a handheld gamer.
Yeah.
It was like a year after I had the DS, I just sold it.
Mm.
And then I ended up getting like a Game Boy Micro, and then I had American Wasteland on it. And I sold that too.
Yeah.
Because I don't like handheld gaming that much, but that's just me. But yeah, back to the whole emulator thing. So yeah, that's kind of the whole situation with that. Yeah, just don't sell games that aren't yours on your Patreon.
Yeah, that you don't own.
Yeah. But as far as emulation goes, I like emulation for old stuff because it legit just lets you play games that you would otherwise not be able to play.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, like you would just lose access to these games.
To bring it back to your point from before, it's preservation. Like
it's
it's actually preserving the games that these like publishers, pretty much the publishers, not really the developers. Mm-hmm. I highly doubt the developers would just want their game to just go to waste after all the time that they put into it, but like that they just don't care about it anymore. But us as the actual people consuming the products and like consuming these games have fond memories of them that want to find a way to play these games again. Yeah. Like it's a way for us to play the game that the companies don't care about anymore.
Yeah, or just the companies can't do anything with. Because like sometimes, like I said with the licensed games, mm-hmm. like they would have to reacquire the license to even try to do something with it, which some of these licenses are under different things that have like exclusivity rights and stuff like that, so they just wouldn't be able to touch it again. Yep. That's the problem with a lot of movie licensed games. Like I like to go back and play some old superhero games. You would never see like re-releases of those.
No. Friday the 13th.
Well, that's the problem with games like that is those are online only. Yeah. So it's like you can't really preserve those unless someone's running a paid server for them.
Based, yeah.
But yeah, I'm all for emulation for like old, outdated stuff that you can't get anymore. But yeah, I wouldn't emulate anything that's currently available. Yeah. Like I wouldn't emulate a Nintendo Switch game. Mm-hmm. That you can just get on Nintendo Switch right now. Yeah, you can just do that.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's that's the point. Is like we're not out here saying like, hey, don't pay for the stuff. Like you should most definitely, if the game is available now to actually purchase, like from the actual companies that make the games, then do that. But old games, I think emulation is fine for sure. We don't really have a good segue into the next one, but there's kind of a lot of pop culture, like TV movie stuff that was also covered in like the past couple of weeks. Last time we talked about The Crow, probably a little bit too long about The Crow, but they actually dropped the trailer of it, and we had watched it before coming on and starting the podcast here, and to me, I think that it actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, but you've never seen The Crow.
I'm it's very not mixed. Like a lot of the people that are big fans of the old Crow are kind of pissed.
Well, I don't know if they're pissed, but they're just not that interested.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like for me, it doesn't look like the movie's like terrible as a movie, but it just doesn't. It doesn't have the vibe of The Crow. Yeah. Like when you see it, there's nothing in it that's really like, oh, this is The Crow, other than there's a crow in it.
Yeah. Well, he even talks about it. Dude, he smears crow poop on his eyes.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, it might be a decent movie, and like it looks like it's gonna have some pretty good action scenes, but it doesn't look like a Crow movie. It just looks like a movie like that they're just putting the Crow name on type of thing. Because like the way they're setting the characters up too, it's different. But yeah, I mean, if you don't know anything about The Crow, you might be able to just enjoy it.
Yeah. I'm not well versed on the Crow-verse. I don't know that much about The Crow, but from what I saw of this, I was like, this looks pretty sweet. I'm just waiting for him to start growing like red hair and then start living in the sewers. Yeah. That's what I was thinking like the entire time. I even said it like a couple of times. I was like Pennywise right here.
Yeah, I mean, he still looks stupid.
Yeah, George.
His design is still dumb, but yeah.
But I mean, there's some pretty cool moments in that trailer.
But yeah, you know what though? It could be because that's what a lot of movies do nowadays. Those might be the only cool moments.
That's true.
Because that happens a lot now. You see the trailer and you're like, well, that looks pretty cool, but then you realize it's like the only cool part.
Yeah. You brought up a good you said that some of the action scenes looked like John Wick.
Yeah, it just seems like they were just leaning into like that type of action vibe more.
Yeah,
but
which would be awesome.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, it's not really.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that was interesting to see. I was expecting more to be more cringed out than I was.
Well,
you know what I mean.
Maybe they just didn't focus on those
maybe
parts.
Maybe
they know.
Maybe not. But I was able to... You were saying that you weren't able to stand a few seconds of Jared Leto's Joker. I was able to stand a few seconds of...
well, yeah, like, Jared Leto's Joker didn't only look dumb. The way he presented himself was dumb. I didn't have a problem with the way Bill Skarsgård was acting in the trailer. Yeah. So it's like, that makes it more watchable. Even though I think he looks stupid.
Yeah.
With Joker, the second he opened his mouth, I was like, oh god, I don't like this at all. Yeah. And then it just persisted. Mm-hmm. But
additionally, the Fallout trailer.
Yeah, Fallout trailer. Which that looks
Fallout
good.
Series, that looks like Fallout. Yeah. Like it looks...
They had the Fallout 3 song.
Yep, they did. Yeah, they did. You get the vault. You get a literal Brotherhood of Steel dude fighting what looks to be a Yao Guai. And I was like, I'm in. You have ghouls. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. I'm a huge Fallout fan. I'm super excited for this. I just hope that wasn't just like the first episode, and then it pulls like an echo or something on us.
Goes way downhill. It's always possible with shows.
It is
and
now
movies.
Because that was like they did something similar with like the Halo show, didn't they?
Yeah, I heard Halo season 2. Like even the the actor was like, "Oh no, things are much better." Like they acknowledged that season 1 was bad.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "No, everything's much better now. We did like a way better job with how the show's presented." But then I'm like seeing things where like the recent episodes, everybody's like, "Yeah, they're just doing the same shit again. It just sucks."
Yeah. Well, I heard that Master Chief, notorious for taking his helmet off.
Yeah.
I heard that that's one of the big things. Is like he takes his helmet off.
Yeah, like all the time.
Which is like. He has never done that ever.
Yeah, that's probably one of those things where it's like the actor wants to be visible. Like, he wants people to know that he's Master Chief type of thing. There are actors that do that. They don't like their face being covered in their roles.
Then
why take the role?
Yeah, then why? Well, number one, why take the role? Or number two, if that's one of the requirements of having this actor and you know the what you're presenting to the audience and well, I would hope that the character that you're trying to portray to the audience.
No, they don't though, because when the showrunners talked about season 1, they admitted they didn't play the games, so they don't know anything.
So they don't know that Master Chief never takes his helmet off. See, that's one thing that like with Mandalorian, he takes his helmet off like once or twice. I think once.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, you see his face like once.
Yeah.
He takes his helmet off screen.
And he is a massive actor.
No, I know. There was like a rumor where there was like some internal discussion about Pedro Pascal wanting his helmet off more. But no one knows if that was ever true or not, because it doesn't seem like it was, because he's persisted with his helmet on through all the seasons.
Well, I believe that the person that actually plays the Mandalorian, like the person that you typically see walking around the suit, isn't actually Pedro.
Probably not.
From what I've heard, it's actually like John Wayne's like grandson or something like that.
Oh.
I don't know. I could be completely wrong in this.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's what I had heard. So it's like, how sick of a role is that? Like, you're known as the Mandalorian. You don't even have to be on set or like do any of the stuff. Yeah. You just have to just voice it.
Pretty much.
that's a pretty sweet gig.
But I mean, like, I don't know if that's the case with Halo. Mm-hmm. I just, with how much he's taking the helmet off, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. I mean, that's sucks though.
But I mean, the Halo show is never a faithful adaptation, anyways. So at this point, it's like whatever.
Yeah.
Like, they're just doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
They're just gonna lose their viewership and get negative reviews, and that's just the path they took.
Yeah. The ghoul in there, I forget what the actor's name is.
Isn't it the same guy who's doing the Vault commercial in the beginning of the trailer?
It is. Yeah.
Hey, I always forget the actor's name. He's in a ton of stuff though.
Yeah. Yeah, he is in it. Walton Goggins. Mm-hmm. That's it. He's in a ton of stuff. He's in I mean, he's been like popping up everywhere for me.
He's also the
Righteous
voice
Gemstones.
He's the voice of what's the guy's name? In Invincible. The guy, the white-haired guy.
Yeah.
I always forget his character's name.
The guy with what is he like he runs blind in one eye, right?
Oh, he's got like a scar on that side of his face.
Something like that, yeah. I know who you're talking about, though.
He's like the main agency dude. I always forget his name, and I literally just watched the mid-season premiere.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing, is that Invincible season mid-season season 2's mid-season premiere just came out.
Took like a huge break.
Yeah. It's like, okay, so Invincible season 3 is out now. After it being a pretty big cliffhanger. But yeah, Walton Goggins. I'm probably pronouncing this wrong.
Galton Waggins.
But it is kind of cool. Like, you see him. It seems like he's an actor, obviously. Like, I think
he's an actor.
Well, no, I know that like Walter is an actor. I'm saying that in the show, it seems like the ghoul is an actor, and like, it's from what you pick up on in some of the things in the actual like trailer, it seems like he picked up some of the gunplay and stuff from being in like acting. I'm assuming being in like westerns. I don't really know, but yeah, I'm pumped for that. Drops in April, like early April 11th or April 14th or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact date. Yeah, I'm excited for that too. I'm hoping it's good. Like I said, shows can go either way nowadays, though. You never know.
And yeah, one of the bigger things from that is that, like, apparently the TV show had to like they wanted to do certain things, but they couldn't do it because it could be in Fallout 5.
Yeah, I saw that. Bethesda, Todd Howard, and stuff like that.
AKA Fallout 77.
Yeah, they just do a sequel to that.
Oh my god. Yeah, April 12th is when it drops. So again, my dates are terrible.
Next month.
Yeah. So that'll be awesome. I'm pumped for that. Lately I've been watching Orville. You ever seen that?
When you were here the one time a few years ago, you had it on.
Watch it, yeah. Yeah, it was I just recently picked it up. I'm like, oh yeah, I never like finished this show.
Didn't they wasn't it like canceled and then someone else picked it up and they got like a new season?
It's on Disney Plus.
Oh.
So I think it might have been like one of those Disney acquisitions when they got Fox, maybe.
Okay.
So that could have been it, but it's on Disney Plus. I've been watching it. It's a pretty solid show. Like I've never been like a big Star Trek guy, but it's clear that that this is like the Star Trek for people who aren't into Star Trek type of thing. Like it's funny. It's got like good solid moments in it too. And having not watched the original, like when it had first come out, and just like picking it up now, it's like this is actually a pretty solid show. So I'm in season 2 right now, so I'm kind of going through that. But I do want to obviously pick up Invincible, finish up the rest of season 2. If I finished Avatar, that was really, really good. Some things I feel like are different, if memory serves correctly, from like the animated show, like
probably
the ending. But I mean, season 1 great. They've already announced that season 2 and season 3 are going to be coming.
Yeah, how many seasons did the cartoon have?
3.
3? Okay.
Yeah.
Because they said that they're ending the show with season 3.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it had season. So season 1 was I think it's like the Book of Water, or it's just water. I don't know why. I think it's the Book of Water, unless I'm just making that up. It sounds good, so I'll just go with that. And then I think season 2 is like the book, like Earth, and then season 3 is Fire. So like each season, it's kind of focusing on Aang's, like him mastering the different elements. So,
dude, it's
Aang.
That's the way it's supposed to be pronounced. So I'm just gonna change it.
Dude, I've been telling you, man, you should watch that. I think that you really, really like it.
I watched the cartoon first, or the
cartoon first. Cartoon first, for sure. Yeah, it's good. I think that pretty much covers. That was a pretty big section on like TV pop culture type stuff.
Yeah, I mean we can go back to some bad news because we're going back to gaming news.
All right, let's get back into it.
I mentioned this on one of your live streams, but with WB Games.
Yeah, we love WB here.
Yeah,
at Joystick Jabber.
So you know Hogwarts Legacy,
yep.
that big failure,
yeah,
and then
huge.
and then Suicide Squad, that huge success.
Yep.
Well, WB is aware of that, so they're doubling down on live service and mobile because, well, the single player market's too volatile.
Oh wow, it is. I feel like the single player market is typically pretty stable. If you make a good single player game.
No, dude, it's safer to go on live service. Their most recent live service was a huge success. What do you mean?
I feel like, to me, it seems like live service would be, you'd sink more money into live service.
Well, that seems to be the case.
like you'd have to worry about the servers. You have to worry about constantly like keeping up with content.
Well, yeah, their hope is to make people pay constantly.
Yeah.
The problem is that every time a live service game comes out, there's no reason to pay constantly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was obviously being sarcastic in the beginning. So
yeah.
they look at their successes and they're like, no. They look at their failures and they're like, yes.
Well, I had heard something about Hogwarts Legacy 2.
Well, there's a huge chance it's going to be a live service game now because like they directly mentioned that when they were saying that like they were going to be moving to more live service. They did mention Hogwarts. They're like,
Wow.
they're like, we feel like moving to live service in the future, say for like Hogwarts 2 and other franchises and IPs, would be beneficial for our company. It's like, okay. Yeah, because Hogwarts 1 was such a big failure.
So I wasn't as high on Hogwarts Legacy as a lot of other people were, obviously. We had talked about this before, but to me it was just, there were too many like puzzles and things like that for me to, like, for my mind to fully engage with. But obviously it's a huge success, and like the medium was not live service, and so them moving to potentially a live service sequel, that's such a bad move, man.
I know, but that's just WB. They don't make good moves. They literally looked at all of the recent games that came out, and they're banking on the ones that failed.
I would love to like hear the opinions of like employees or that and that kind of stuff. That's the thing, is that now you see a lot of like smaller studios popping up. Obviously, like that's going to start happening with a lot of the more layoffs, which is like, those are ongoing stories now. Like, we could talk about every single week, like, oh, there's a layoff at this big company, like layoffs in gaming in this big company. So I'm hoping that with a lot of these smaller studios that you see start popping up, that we'll start seeing more like you'll see their creativeness in the stories that they want to tell, and you're going to see a lot more single player stories hopefully coming out. And I hope that they don't decide to go like the live service route. However, with Helldivers 2 live service, to me, it doesn't.
Yeah, but WB.
No, there's no way they would do something like that.
They don't want to do it right. They don't want to be like, you have the option to pay or you don't. Yeah. It's up to you. No, WB's going to be like, you have to pay.
You don't have the option to pay, and you must.
It's like, wait, what?
You have to pay when you sign in. You have to pay when you sign out.
Yeah, so WB, I don't know. The future is looking pretty grim for WB games. Yeah. Luckily, the Wonder Woman game is still going to be untouched by these changes, and that's supposed to have the Nemesis system from like Shadow of War and stuff like that. So
we'll see. I mean,
hopefully that's good. That'd be like the last
thing too. Is like,
hope.
I forget how many good games came out of WB. Like, there were tons. Like,
and they were all single player.
Yeah, I know. There was the Shadow of War series.
Well, the whole entire Arkham trilogy.
The Arkham series.
Which, according to our short, I hate.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
I hate the Arkham series.
Look, that's pretty clear.
I only collected the entirety of it.
Yeah.
I've like...
Speaking of someone that has never played the Arkham games.
Yeah. I have like over like 500 hours on Arkham Knight.
Jesus Christ.
I have like over 100 hours on each Arkham game except for Asylum because of how fast you can beat that game. Yeah. But I have like 70 hours on that.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think back on how many. I mean, you had like Mortal Kombat 9, 10, 11, not one.
No. You can still, I went on 11 just to check, just to verify the crypt event was live again because I still am running that thread.
Yeah.
And I went into the race against time. If you hit a certain milestone, you get time crystals.
Wow.
You can just earn time crystals in that game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who there. I would love to like look into it to see what kind of a change, if there's like a change in like upper management or something like that that's in charge of this stuff, because
I don't know.
It just sounds like
there's something.
It's
going
just
on.
not. It's not so much gamer friendly as it is. I mean, it could be more so that this is the way that they think that, oh, like we're losing money, but it's clear that the entirety of the gaming industry is losing money, or there wouldn't be layoffs. But it could be something like that, and this is their thought of how they think that they're salvaging it. But
well, like I said, there's things you can do to monetize your game that does work, even if it's still frowned upon. Like there's something going on with it internally with the way they're pricing things, because they had the skins at $12. Mm. Now they're starting to come out at $6.
We're talking about MK1.
We're talking about MK1, yes. But then randomly they add MK3 Kung Lao cameo skin, and it's $7.80, which is a weird number because you can't just get that. So you basically have to spend $10 if you want it. But it's worth more than the main roster skins, and it's just a cameo skin. So I don't know what they're doing with the pricing. Things just need a base value if they're gonna do this. Main roster $6, cameo $3.
Yeah,
like that's just the way it should be. And then now they came out with St. Patrick's Day skins that are like $3 each, and they look stupid.
Yeah,
they should just be earned.
I have, like
I
said before, like I covered the game and then I stopped because.
Well, we're not going into a rant this time. I just was kind of elaborating on the way they're pricing things.
Yeah.
I don't know if I talked about the XP thing last time or if it's been a while, but
I think you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think our last episode we went into.
Well, like, because I wasn't sure if because I don't know if I had played the Seasonal Tower yet at that point, but after playing the Seasonal Tower, this new XP payout system, it sucks. It's only good. It's only good for your first time through the mesas.
Actually, I think that you brought up in the last episode that
I was going to do that.
Yeah, you were going to be doing that.
So to just briefly continue off of that, the XP is great your first time through the mesas, but then once you get to the gateway tower grind, when you have nothing left, that's when it's terrible. Because 4,000 XP per seasonal tower level, it's fine for when you're in the 30s, but when you keep climbing it, it's worse and worse because it doesn't give you more.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to go from level 31 to 35 with Kenshi, I had to beat the seasonal tower like 16 or 17 times, which is terrible.
Jeez.
And then it slows because you're increasing the level. So if you want to master your next character,
it's gonna take even longer.
To get 4 level ups in the 30s, it's 17. To go from like 1 to 35, you'd have to beat the seasonal tower like I don't even know 60 times. That's not gonna happen.
Well, I mean, they do want you to beat it 90 times, right?
60. They do want you to beat it 60 times this time. You have to go from 30 to 90.
Oh, okay. So it starts at 30.
To get all the pallets. Yeah, to get all the pallets out of the seasonal tower, you have to go from 30 to 90, which is insanely ridiculous. It used to be you'd have to beat it 25 times. So that's a more than double jump. I don't know what they're doing with the game. They're clearly not listening to the fan feedback. But yeah, they need to have the XP increase as you scale the tower. Yeah. It'd be much faster to just do a 3-fight tower for 750 XP each time rather than doing the seasonal tower once, because you'd get 4,000 XP out of the 3 fights faster than you would with the seasonal tower. It doesn't make sense. They don't know how to calculate the XP.
Yeah.
If you do a 10-fight tower, you get 1,750. If you do the seasonal tower, which is 10 fights, you get 4,000. But
I know that we said we weren't going to go into.
Well, that's how I was going to end it.
With a rant on this one, but essentially what they're doing is like us. If we're the consumer, and like say, let's just give this analogy of like we're at a restaurant, and they're giving us our food, which is Mortal Kombat, and we're like, oh, I don't like this. Can you go and like heat it up? It's like a little cold or something like that. And they're like, oh yeah, sure. They bring it back into the kitchen. They kick it around on the floor and they bring it back. They're like, oh, what is this? And they're like, oh, you don't like that? Here, let me take it back. And then they go and they throw it and they burn it and then they bring it back to you and you're like, I'm leaving.
Well, it is warm now.
Yeah,
you burned it.
Yeah. So it's they're not.
They are listening. They're just doing the opposite of what we ask. Yeah. They're like, oh, it's too grindy. Well, what if we make it more grindy? That's kind of what their whole thing is each season. But like I said, it is good the first time you go through the mesas. They give you a ton of XP for the first time completion of each singular node, because you do one fight, you get as much as you would get from a tower technically.
Yeah.
Which that's fine, but like now in order to really master a character, you just have to wait 40 to 80 days between seasons to pick a character you want to level up, which is not better in any way. It actually just takes massively longer. Yeah, WB doesn't know what they're doing. Their live service models in all of their games is terrible.
But they want to double down on it.
I know, and it's not. I hope it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm still curious to see what the future of Suicide Squad is. So I'll try to transition this into our next thing. Mm-hmm. But this is going to be multiple different things, but we're just going off of it.
Yeah, this is essentially we're just in gaming news right now.
Yeah. But speaking of the further future of Suicide Squad, Season 1 does start on the 28th of March, and that's when Joker releases. People call him the Jonkler because he's like a he's like a shittier version of the Joker, which he kind of, in the trailer, he kind of is. I'm still curious to play as him just to see how he plays because his gameplay looks kind of fun compared to the rest of them. But yeah, Season 1's going to be like a interesting thing to see because it's like this is like how the future of the game's going to continue with their content drops. So if they botch Season 1 massively, I don't know. Like if they can't finish this story, they're better off just retconning the whole entire story from the Arkhamverse. Because if they can't finish the story, then the Arkhamverse's future is like completely fucked.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then that's just all I'll say about that because they haven't been doing many like updates to the game because they're waiting for Season 1 to start.
I mean, to me, it's still weird that they didn't start on Season 1.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like a preseason thing. But the other thing too, on March 28th, we have the Texas Chainsaw content. They're getting the mill and a new victim named Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And she's able to blind the family temporarily, and she can like poison the blood buckets, and then if the family interacts with it, it blinds them too.
I feel like that'll be interesting. I mean, obviously we'll have to see how effective that is. I don't think it doesn't sound like it's as game changing as Danny's ability.
It depends. It depends what the blindness is like and how long it lasts.
Yeah.
Because
for me, like, it also depends on what character like you're playing as. Like if I was playing as Leatherface, I never touch blood buckets.
No,
so, like,
but you can just blind. You can blind them without poisoning the blood bucket.
Mm.
So like because they could completely lose your trail.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah.
So and if it say it's like a cloud like Sissy, and you have like multiple family on you, you can blind both of them or all three of them.
Is she able to heal other people with her poison?
I don't know. They just talked about those two things. I don't know what her skill tree is gonna look like or what kind of ability she gets with her main perk. So that'll be interesting. Yeah. The mill. They did a closer look trailer for the mill, and yeah, it looks like a confusing level.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's some that I'm still confused on in like the basement areas more so. Like I still don't ever really know where I'm at.
I'm fine with that now. I mean, I was fine with that since like the closed beta type thing, but until like Nancy's house came out. But Nancy's house is really easy to
Nancy's house is easy for me.
You just basically got to find a personal north point and a personal south point, and then you can pretty much find your way through pretty easily. Yeah.
I guess we'll see. Haven't really been touching the game too much. It's another one of those games, man, where I don't think that it's on the part of the developer necessarily. It's just the type of game it is. Like
asymmetrical games are really tough.
It's hard to like have a community base, and one of the bigger issues with that part of it is that you also need like a team of people. Like it's not a game that you can just like solo go in.
It's funny though because like I played Double XP, which was like this was like right after your last stream of it basically, and then the weekend after that they did Double XP. Mm-hmm. That was around the last time I played it, and I just quick matched like I usually do. And I had 2 victim games throughout all those quick matches, and I escaped both of them. Wow. And I'm in with complete randoms.
Yeah.
It's like the Ryan curse.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like for me the victim it's so heavily family sided that's the other thing that I feel like is on the developer side. But it feels like it's only family sided because of the fact that it's typically just like me and you going in there. If we had a full squad of victims that all knew each other, all communicating, it'd be a much different story. And so like it's very hard to balance that. That's the hardest part, I think, is to balance that is like the group dynamic aspect of a game like this where communication is so heavily like
I mean asymmetrical games
relies on communication so much.
They're always gonna have that kind I mean the thing that's weird is Friday the 13th you didn't really need that. Obviously it helps, but like you could manage even if you didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
Because of the whole proximity chat and everything like that.
And then there's Vanessa's.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you had 3 Vanessas on your team, you could do whatever you want. Because Jason would only
Vanessa and just beating up Jason.
Jason's whole thing goes off of like buildings lit red if people are in them or sound, and Vanessa's would just be all over the map making noise, highlighting buildings. So like if you were like an AJ or a Deborah, you'd just be under the radar the whole match.
I do miss that game.
I do too. I used to play the hell out of that game.
Yeah.
We both did.
Yeah.
And then my strategy was I'd turn on the car and then just not move. And then Jason would have to choose 2 different cars because like normally he sees the icon move if someone starts driving, but if you turn the car on and just sit there, he can't see which one's moving, and then he has to make a choice. So if he chooses the wrong one, he wastes his teleport, and then you just start driving.
Yeah.
So I played the hell out of that.
Yeah.
I remember like juking Jason's. I remember when at the height of the pay to win Savini Jason, we were like the only 2 left. And we had the car ready, and he's after us. I stunned him with the bat. You got in the car and started it, and you started driving away, and then you picked me up, and then you juked him, and then we got out. And we were like, God, he's so pay to win. We just 2v1'd him.
Yeah, man, that was a good game. It's one that.
And that game had balancing issues too. Like there were moments where game was
I was just bringing it up, the Vanessas.
Yeah, like if you.
A full squad of Vanessas.
It would have been interesting if they would have been able to add a mode where you couldn't have duplicate counselors.
Yeah.
So that like everybody had to play to their strengths, because like what ended up becoming the meta is you would have like one Kenny, which was like all middle of the road stats, and then everybody else was Vanessa. And the Kenny was only there so that they could set up the kill for Jason. So like one of the Vanessas would end up sacrificing themselves to become Tommy, and then the Kenny would like they'd have a Vanessa wear the sweater, they'd have the Kenny stun Jason to get the mask, and then they just instantly kill Jason because you can't really fight a team of Vanessas.
Yeah.
Then they ended up making it to where once Jason was in rage mode, you couldn't stun him anymore. So the more you would beat him up, the faster he would get into rage.
Yeah.
That's kind of their way to mitigate that. But yeah, and then the lawsuit happened and it was all over.
Yeah.
Which sucks. But anyways, back to Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
On March 27th, Janet Cage comes out, which is a cameo.
She looks nuts from what.
Yeah, she looks like she's gonna be
about.
ridiculous. So she's got like this ninja mime move where she like touches an invisible wall, but it actually creates a wall. But in what happens is you can do corner combos anywhere.
Jeez.
And then she also can just like, you know how like Kenshi's ghost works?
Mm-hmm.
She kind of works that way too, where you summon her and you can just do attacks with her. Like Kenshi's ghost.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Until she like leaves. So she looks like she's going to be maybe OP cameo.
Still doesn't make. I'm still confused at why they decided to do Janet Cage instead of Johnny Cage. But
I don't know. Just to make it different, I guess. But she's got all of classic Johnny's moves.
It's just to me, like.
She even has the green energy.
Like, there's no. To me, it just keeps sounding like there's no rhyme or reason behind why they do anything. They're just like, oh, we'll do this. Like, there's no, like...
I think they originally were planning on, like, this was the thing I was seeing, too, is, because originally, the details for the combat pack, it originally did say cameo Johnny Cage, but I think they always had Janet planned. They just didn't want to spoil the whole multiverse thing before the game came out. But that's still kind of false advertising.
Yeah.
So I don't know. All they really need to do is just have her have a palette swap for Johnny. It doesn't. Her whole entire mastery track is already visible. She doesn't. It's just Janet with color swaps.
So yeah, you probably won't get that.
And I don't know if they're ever gonna add that.
Probably not.
They have an entire Johnny Cage character model in the game already.
Nope.
Well, I mean, they added MK.
At least mime Johnny.
Yeah, they added an entire MK3 outfit for Kung Lao, but normal Kung Lao can't wear it.
They literally added Johnny Mime in the last mission of the game.
Yeah, with Janet. They're standing right next to each other. No, I know. There's so much they could do with that game. It's just every time they do something, if it's not based off move list, every time they do something, it just comes off as lazy. So, but yeah. So that's like March, end of March and March content releases in terms of games that are already out.
Yeah.
They're all like right at the end of March. 27th, 28th.
Yeah. I guess a good transition to that, unless there's any more news that you can think of.
And there might be something, I just can't think of it
Yeah,
right now.
I think that we covered a pretty good portion of it. Is the game releases.
Yeah. Well, one of them that this isn't for like April or March though. One that finally got a release date, or well, that finally got news, was the Ghost of Tsushima PC port.
Yep.
I've been waiting for that. I mean, I have it on PS5, like the upgraded edition or whatever it's called, so it runs at 60 FPS anyways, but they finally announced a PC port for that game. I think it comes out sometime in May. I don't remember the exact day, though. I think it was like May 17th.
It's funny because I think that we actually like just talked about this on our last podcast.
Well, we talk about it all the time anyways, because we're always wondering where the PlayStation PC ports are.
I know.
Because the one that already had a release date a while back was Horizon Forbidden West. Mm-hmm. And then we were like, oh, I wonder if like Ragnarok or Ghost of Tsushima will finally get a PC port. And then they finally are giving Ghost of Tsushima a PC port, which I'm super excited for. Now that it's on PC, if you get it, I don't know if you're planning on getting it or not yet.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Because I know Tiger will most likely get it, and I was just about to say, with the whole Legends mode thing, we might finally be able to do the team.
How many does it take? 3?
I thought it was. I don't know if it had a base requirement of 4 or a base requirement of 3 to 4.
Oh, okay.
But we'll have to see.
Yeah, there's a couple of major games still coming out this.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's still Dragon's Dogma 2 and Rise of the Ronin.
Yeah, so I've been seeing a lot of Dragon's Dogma 2, the character creator, and people just like making completely like wild characters. Yeah. If you guys want to see it, you should definitely look up all the different characters just like look up Dragon's Dogma 2.
I mean, it looks like it has like a Saints Row style character slider system.
It seems very sophisticated. Like not only like the face and like facial structure and stuff, but the body.
Yeah, like I saw Nigel Thornberry, square body and all.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so that is coming out. That's apparently March 22nd.
Yep, same day as Rise of the Ronin.
So that's gonna be Rise of the Ronin, March 20th. Dude, March.
I mean, I'm gonna probably be skipping some of the new releases because I'm still going through Tomb Raider and doing other stuff. Because I'm gonna be doing like Tomb Raider 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, so you decided?
Yeah, and then I'll probably do the Legend trilogy as well.
Do the remake games?
Maybe, I don't know, because it's like that's gonna.
That's a long
because those games are also super long.
We also have the Alone in the Dark.
Yeah, I'm actually somewhat interested in that. I need to see more though.
Yeah.
But it looks kind of cool.
March 20th. It's coming out. 5 days.
Yeah, and they haven't really showed too much with it. They showed a lot of like cinematic trailers, kind of. They might have been in-engine renders, but yeah, I'm cautiously watching that game. Same with Rise of the Ronin.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, I probably will also not be diving straight into these just because
you gotta play RoboCop.
I know I have RoboCop. I have that I'm still playing through, which is like from
last year.
Yeah, literally last year. I have Final Fantasy VII and I have Helldivers, which is like every day.
You're getting close to beating Helldivers too.
Yeah, I mean that's not something that you really beat, but just like in terms of creating like covering it and everything, just like. It's tough to do all of these. There's South Park Snow Day coming out.
I don't think that's supposed to be like an RPG.
Oh, are they making it not like Stick of Truth and Fractured But Whole?
From what I saw, because I didn't really look too much into it, because I never played those games, but it didn't seem like this was like an RPG game.
Oh, okay, interesting. I played a little bit of the Stick of Truth, and that was like an RPG. And I figured that this was just going to be along the same lines, but
I don't know. Maybe it's just from what I saw, it didn't look like it, but it still is. I have no idea.
Medieval Dynasty New Settlement.
Whoa.
Yep. And I mean, for March, I guess that's kind of like the really major releases. I mean, there's the Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition
for PC, yeah,
on the 21st.
Which I would get it if I beat Zero Dawn, but I didn't get into that game as much.
Yeah.
Maybe sometime in the future. I don't know.
But that's pretty much it for March. Like going into April, there's Stellar Blade. That's like late April, but there's Grounded, which is April 16th. I know that was Grounded for PS5 and Switch.
Oh,
and that was one of the Xbox.
Isn't that Honey I Shrunk the Kids game?
Yeah. So that's coming out April 16th. There's obviously a lot of other games that are coming out between like then that I'm not mentioning, just because I don't really know too much about them. But yeah, I mean, then Stellar Blade is late April too.
Yeah.
So those are the major game releases. Dark Forces, did that come out now?
That came out. The Dark Forces remastered. That
You
came
tried
out.
it?
No, I don't have it yet. That came out last month, near the end of last month.
Okay.
I heard it was good though. Like they did a good job.
Multiplayer's broken though, so overwhelmingly
game's 100% unplayable.
They did a good job. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that covers the game releases for March, and then for pretty much April, the major ones at least. Again,
well, we'll probably be bringing this up numerous times.
Yeah, if there's anything that we missed, let us know. Obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, in the comments below. I think that's...
Or on Spotify on the video above.
Yeah, on the video above, yeah.
That's how people respond on Spotify. They make videos.
Yeah, they have to respond with a video.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that is a thing on TikTok.
Well, that's getting banned.
I think. Yeah, it is. Well, yeah, we're not going to get into that. That's political. Yeah, we don't do that here.
Yeah, Echo.
You know, that wasn't super political. It was on topic. Anything else that
I can't think of anything else now.
Okay, well that should about cover it for this week of Joystick Jabber.
Well, we did miss last week because
we did. I was sick. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there might have been something we missed earlier on then.
Yep.
But I don't know now.
Yeah. I mean, there are some other like little news, like pop culture news stories that we just didn't get into.
Yeah, like EA shutting down.
Yeah, EA shutting down. Yeah. There's Venom 3.
But
there's
after 2, I'm not excited for 3.
Yeah. There will be blood and carnage, and then it's like
mass mayhem, brutal execution. Rated
PG-13.
No, just PG.
Was it PG?
No, it was PG-13.
Okay. Might as well just been PG. But yeah, thank you guys all for coming hanging out with us. I'm Sly Spy Gaming here with FLCLAFI. I'm Ryan, Nick, and this is Joystick Jabber. We'll see you guys next time.